set all our mindset first. So to lead us on that short activity, let us all welcome once again President nominee Chun John Ong.
Thank you, RJ. Good afternoon, district leaders. Welcome to Rock the Meter. We Rotaractors are living proofs that we can make achievements when we are all together. And in more than 50 years of Rotaract, we have something to contribute in the general picture of Rotary. And our message for this session goes to this question. How can MDIO and PCRG work together in elevating the role of Rotaract? Requesting for the technical to flush for the Mentimeter question. And kindly visit menti.com on your browsers and use the code that will be flashed in your screens. Oh, wait. Can you all see the Mentimeter question? And there. Okay, the question for this afternoon session is how can MDIO and PCRG work together in elevating the role of Rotaract? So can they visit menti.com and use the code flashed in your screen to give your feedback. So this question is an open-ended. So generally, it requires your individual statements for this simple question, and we will give you a moment to answer the poll. So when answering the poll, let me share you something. So Rotaractors of the Rotaract clubs have a unique value, which is recognized by our respective sponsoring Rotary clubs by involving and engaging to various meaningful projects that created high-level impact to the communities we serve. Even the Rotary International, they see great contribution and potential of every Rotaract club, which is one of the reasons behind the few changes or enactments in favor to support the role of Rotaract worldwide. Enactment 19-72 to be exact. Do you remember that? It is well tackled from our resource speakers and panelists from our past sessions. Well, on that point, during the time of enactment and presentation of the said measure, past RI President Barry Rasin said once, quote and unquote, we need to be an inspiration to our young partners so they will continue doing the great service that they do. That measure simply expands the definition of membership type in Rotary International to include both Rotary and Rotaract clubs. That's an achievement and history. Okay, then, I think our district leaders is ready. So let's try to look all the responses, the ideas of our district leaders in this poll question. So again, the question is how can MDIO and PCRG work together in elevating the role of Rotaract? So let me read some of your answers. So first one is here is a collaborate and mentorship. So everybody can be part of actions. Constant communication, I think that is very a need for every organization. Cooperation, communication, opening PCRG meetings to Rotaractors. Let's see and ask our speaker for the possibility to have two-way channels so that each can learn from each other. So it is not just a one-way communication. It must be a two-way round. That's, I think, right, because every leaders count on their members. Increase number of clubs and its public image to make it more impact, by strengthening the relation first, then good communication. MDIO and PCRG will be the platform of Rotaract to Rotary International. Definitely, they are representing the Pilipinas Rotaractors. Well, I think our district leaders are ready and prepared for this afternoon session. Okay, back to you, RJ. Thank you, district leaders.
Thank you very much, P and Chun, and thank you all for sharing your thoughts on how MDIO and PCRG can work together in elevating Rotaract. All right. So proceeding now to our special session for today. I want to introduce our moderator for this afternoon to help us facilitate this session. He is a past district Rotaract representative of District 3780 and our incoming MDIO chair. Let's all give it up for PDRR Louis De Real.
Thank you very much, RJ. Can you hear me clearly? Okay, so I
Yes.
hope everyone is excited for our special session this afternoon, which will touch on Rotary and Rotaract partnership at the national level. As we have been talking in the past, Rotaract and Rotary should have built bridges for strong collaboration. As the organization which has visibility over the needs and concerns of Rotaract in the 10 districts of the Philippines, it is only imperative that the Pilipinas Rotaract MDIO will lead the way in establishing synergy with Rotary at a national scale. So to jumpstart this discussion, we are fortunate to have today a national Rotary leader who will introduce to us the functions and initiatives of the Rotary counterpart of Rotaract MDIO in the Philippines. He is the chairman and CEO of Mega Pharma Incorporated. He started his Rotary journey in 2006 when he joined the Rotary Club of Metro Bacolod. Then he became their president in Rotary year 2008-2009, in which he won the most outstanding president. After that, he served his district, District 3850, as the district secretary for Rotary year 2012 to 2013, and became the district governor in Rotary year 2014 to 2015. He didn't stop there. He became the Rotary District Promotional Chairman for the Manila Rotary Institute in 2015. He also became the Vice President of Visayas and Help and Assistance for Rotary District Philippines, also in acronym as HARPI. And in the Rotary year 2016 and 2019, he became the Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator of Rotary International Zone 7A. Now, he's the incoming chair of the Philippine College of Rotary Governors for Rotary year 2020 to 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome past District Governor Joe J. Jude Doctora.
Thank you, Louis. Can you hear me? Is my audio okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Can you allow me to share my screen? I'll be controlling my screen. I have a few PowerPoint slides. Can I request the administrator to allow my share screen?
Okay, he's working already, sir.
Go ahead, Gov.
Okay, let me do that again. Okay, good. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, go.
Okay, so thank you very much, and thank you, Louis, for that nice introduction. Well, this is the beauty of, at least on the upside, the beauty of virtual conference. You can invite anybody to be your speaker, and without any hassle. You don't have to talk about the time, the plane ticket, the accommodation, everything. You can easily have the speaker. In fact, I understand that our incoming Rotary International President Holger will be one of your major speakers later on. Is that correct?
Yes, go.
Okay. So congratulations to the Rotaract leaders incoming both incumbent district Rotaract leaders. I was watching your earlier. I logged in a bit earlier, and I saw the energy. I was envious of the energy that you have. In fact, if I speak after lunch, I would become a bit uncomfortable because this is the most difficult time to get your audience awake. But seeing the energy that you have and the youth that you have, I think you have no problem with that. You're full of energy, so should be okay. I remember that one of our national heroes, Sir Rizal, mentioned that the youth is the hope of the fatherland. And I think I'd like to say that the Rotaractors are the future, or is the future of Rotary. I think tama-tama yan, no? So as requested, I'll be leaving a lot of time for Q&A. I'll be presenting a few PowerPoint, and I'll be leaving a lot of time for Q&A. So, okay. So I'm just showing this slide because everybody knows that this is a new normal. And then when you think about new normal, it is something probably that nobody has any experience about. So come to think of it, there are really no real experts in this new normal because nobody has experienced this before. No? So nobody can really claim that they are expert at this point in time. No? So the same manner as leaders, this is a time that you should be audacious. This is a time that you should be creative. This is also the time that you should show conviction. And most importantly, this is a time that you collaborate with others. Because this is a time that you cannot do things by your own. You need to collaborate with others. No? And you should have a high innovation index. Huh? Okay. So my next slide, I'll show you a video about PCRG. This will tell our story, our history, and how we transformed from a simple fellowship organization to something that we are today. Of course, build brick by brick, layer by layer by all the past PCRG chairman. So, the PCRG today has been molded by all the different chairmen and head of PCRG since 1971. No? So let me show you the video. Wait. Let me check first. Hold on. You let me know if you can hear the audio. Can you hear the audio? Can you
Yes,
hear the
po.
audio?
Not yet.
We cannot hear it, Golf.
Okay, so let me continue. Okay, so you will see from the video that PCRG started to play as a fellowship club. The old guards, they just wanted to make sure that the passaging governor remained the mainstream. So they formed a PRG, and then you will also see the video that from this fellowship concept, the PCRG is now evolved into something that is relevant as far as the Philippine Rotary is concerned. No? In fact, it has become a platform of leadership training also for the passaging governor to assume international or international roles in Rotary International. And if you would notice, some of the notable persons, some of the notable chairmen of PCRG, the first one was, of course, Passaging Governor Paco Delgado, who later on became the past Rotary International Vice President. We have our very own Passaging Governor at Caparas, the only Filipino who became past Rotary International President. And we have Benny Santos, who was the inspiration behind the End Polio campaign of Rotary International, because polio started in the Philippines way back in the 1980s. It was Dr. Benny Santos who challenged Rotary International, telling them, give us a vaccine and we'll provide you with the manpower to vaccinate billions of children against polio. So out of that, it became the inspiration of Rotary International to make End Polio as our gift to the world. No? And of course, today we have past Rotary International Director Paeng Sanova, past Rotary International Director Guillermo Tumangan, and our Rotary International Director now, Rafi Garcia. No? So from this humble beginning of being a fellowship club, the PCRG evolved into something that is relevant, as I said, relevant to the Rotary. In 2018, we started to look at strategic planning, and then we tried to see the reason for our existence, why we exist, and to look at our trust and direction that we want to undertake in the next 3 to 5 years. And if you take a look at the reason for our being, we just want to be a strong and vibrant PCRG. No? We want to be united in service and fellowship, and we also want to be a platform for learning and growth, communication, coordination, and cooperation among the Philippine Rotary districts. Yeah? This is something very important because this strategic vision that we had is what guides us now. This is the reason why we exist, and this is our guiding principle when it comes to the way we manage, when it comes to the way we conduct our PCRG business. No? So again, what keeps us busy? What keeps us busy? We do trainings and orientation. the district governor-elect and their spouses, district governor's nominee and their spouses. Because if you become a district governor, you undergo normally a series of trainings. It starts within the local training, which is conducted by PCRG, what we call the GETS, Governor's Elect Training Program, and the pre-GETS for the district governor nominee. This is the local experience of how to become a district governor. We share them, our experiences in the assembly, and the local experiences that we have when we were governors. From there, you attend the zone training, normally conducted rotating within Asia, and this is where you experience the international flavor of becoming a district governor. This is also the time where you meet your classmates from different countries, where this is the time also where you forge partnership and friendship from your classmates from different countries, from other countries. And from there, your last leg of training will be the International Assembly, where you are trained to look at Rotary from the global perspective. This is where you meet all your classmates from the 520 something districts all over the world. Again, this is an avenue where you can make friendship, where you can force joint projects, and we can make lifelong friends. So this is one of the major activity of PCRG. And today, to make upfront, we are trying to refine and institutionalize the district conflict resolution policy. But for the information of my dear Rotaractors, PCRG does not have any authority over the 10 districts in the Philippines. Our role is advisory. And the reason why when it comes to district conflict resolution, it has to be agreed by that 10 district to make it for it to become a policy. So today we are trying our best to refine it, institutionalize it, and convince the 10 districts to adopt district resolution policy. Based on experience, this is normally intra-district, a conflict within the district that sometimes is difficult to resolve and brings division to the district. So based on our experience, we realize that this is something that we should be involved. No? So that is something that we're trying to do now. And thirdly, we are trying to now to assist the Philippine Rotary districts. We want to host at least one Rotary International Convention. We tried this about 3 years ago and we failed. But today we are rebidding again for the Rotary International Convention in 2026. And PCRG is assisting the bid committee in coming up with a very good bid and preparing for the bid so we can get approved to host the 2016 Rotary International Convention. And then one of the things that we do is every February is we conduct the Rotary Concerns Forum. This is a forum where we discuss Rotary concerns. In the past, we used to limit this to passage governors, district governors elect, and district governors nominee. But then I think in the last 3-4 years, we realized that Rotary concerns cuts across all Rotarians. So the last 4 years, this is now sure. No, I think the last one we held in Iloilo last February, you know, the Rotaractors of Iloilo played a very big role in ensuring the success of that Rotary concerns. As far as getting involved in the program itself, I think that is something that we can look forward, or we can think about and probably discuss. No? One of the roles that we play also, we serve as a conduit to disaster assistance and response. You know, whenever there's a disaster, the PCRG serves as a conduit. All the funds go there. We are the one who distribute the funds that are coursed through PCRG, although many clubs would give direct to the concerned district, but many of the Rotarians put their trust on the credibility and stewardship of PCRG to course their funds through PCRG. And when that happens, we make sure we take care and make sure that these funds go to the intended beneficiary and stewardship is there. No? And one of the things that we do also, keeping in line with the original purpose of PCRG, is to keep the past PCC governor in the mainstream. Many of the past PCC governors, once they have served their term as PCC governors, they started to lie low. And we don't want that to happen, because the past PCC governors is a repository of knowledge and experiences that can help future governors or future leaders in Rotary to be able to share the experience. So we don't want to lose that experience, that knowledge that comes with being a past PCC governor. And of course, we want to have fellowship, fun, and which is the very essence of Rotary. As you know, Rotary was built around fellowship. And if I may share a trivia, when our founder started as a fellowship, no? So we don't want to, our founder, Paul Harris, founded Rotary in Chicago. But do you know that Paul Harris is from out of town, so he's not from Chicago. So when he started to practice in Chicago as a lawyer, he was a bit lonely. So we decided to get with three friends, decided to meet every week, just on a conversation. And they decided that they rotate the venue of the meeting from one office to the other. Hence, the name Rotary. But just any other fellowship club, eventually they realized that there must be something more than fellowship. And that is what we call service to others. So that's how we started. No? So we want to maintain that, the fellowship and the fun. Okay? So that's what keeps us busy. Okay. What's the wish list for PCRG? I hope that we can have a biennial Philippine Rotary Convention, wherein we can have one convention for all the 10 Rotary districts, and probably together with Rotaractors, where we can have fellowship, we can have fun, where we can have an avenue where we can do joint projects, sisterhood, and many other things that would firm up our ideal of service above self. And this one, my second wish list, I was looking at your website, and my God, I felt so envious that the MDIO has a very nice website. I think you should give yourself a round of applause for that. No? Congratulations for having a website, and you have inspired me. And probably this year, hopefully, we can have our own PCRG website. Okay. Okay. So, as a Rotaractor, what is your journey? What is your journey to become a Rotarian? So, this is a Rotary journey. No, every journey begins with the first step. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to go through each and every one. You can come in anywhere there, but just remember that the Rotary journey starts with being an interactor. Now, after becoming an interactor, you become a Rotaractor, university-based. And after that, you become a Rotaractor, community-based, or you become a Rotarian. Now, why do I give a special mention about the Rotaractor community-based? If you take a look at statistics, the number of Rotaractors who become Rotarians is not very high. It's pretty low in terms of percentage. And I realized that the reason for this is that there is a huge gap from the time you graduate from college, where you become busy with your career, you become busy with building your family, building your wealth, and so on and so forth, until you become Rotarians. So roughly, that's about, probably you graduate now at 20, 21, 22, that's another 10 years for you to be ready to become a Rotarian. And within that gap, many of our Rotaractors who are very, very good, we lost them, or we lose them during this period, the 10 or 12 years that we because of this gap, no? The only and what So how do you bridge this gap? This gap will be bridged by Rotaractors who are community-based. This is your waiting area to become a Rotarian. Huh? So I'd like you to take a look at your programs, not because the Rotaractors are not very important. You are very, very important since you become the foundation. But please take a look at the Rotaractor community base because this is the waiting area. So we will not lose the many Rotaractors to become Rotarians. And of course, after that, you become a Rotarian. No? So this is a Rotary journey. Now, my last slide, I don't know if you're familiar with this guy. He's Kairos. He's a god of opportunity. If you notice, look at his head. Anything you notice about his head? You notice that the hair is mostly in front. And if you look at the back of his head, it's pretty bald, no? Now, the reason for this, being a god of opportunity, is that what he is thinking is that when opportunity comes to you, you better grab it by the hair. Because once it's around, it's difficult for you to grab simply because there's no hair at the back. No? So today, as Rotaractors, you are in the prime of your life. I'd like you to take advantage of being a Rotaractors. Look at the opportunities that being a Rotaractors present to you. Grab it, learn from it, and take advantage of it in the same manner to give back as Rotaractors in terms of service, in terms of fellowship, in terms of developing your character, in terms of developing your integrity, and those things, in terms of getting your Rotary values. Take advantage of that. Okay? So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for making a difference. I'd like to reserve the rest of my time for Q&A. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Gov Jude. I think you actually gave a presentation that gave us a full overview of what PCRG is all about. Just to comment on the presentation, but before that, I would just like to remind all our participants that you have the opportunity to ask questions to incoming PCRG Chair Gov Jude. So just chat it in our Zoom platform addressed to past President Henry Aljon Maravillas. So in terms of the presentation earlier, sir, I saw that PCG and Pilipinas Rotaract MDIO have a lot of things in common in terms of the things that we do. So you host actually zone institutes, you provide guidance, recommend creation of districts, training, Philippine Rotary Magazine, personal connection. These are the things that also the MDIO are doing to growing the Rotaract in our country. And I like what you said earlier that you are also looking at how can PCRG could probably contribute in enhancing our Pilipinas Rotaract Convention. And what I also saw in your presentation is about the Rotary Concerns Forum. Right now, we're already in Elevate Rotaract. The spotlight for Rotaract to be really rated in Rotary International is already here. So I think it's also high time that consider also talking about Rotaract concerns in a certain platform. So these are the things that we could probably work on. So while we're still waiting for the question for participants, so allow me to ask these certain questions to you, which could probably guide us in further understanding PCRG. So
Go
number
ahead.
one is, do you have sir anything in mind in terms of expectation on how Pilipinas Rotaract MDIO can support the trust that you have just presented for PCRG?
Well, firstly, I think if we collaborate more, we can inspire each other in the same manner. Kind of the simple inspiration of your website. You have already inspired the incoming chair of PCRG. That is something. And you're absolutely right. No, even Rotary International, they've realized that the future of Rotary is really in the hands of the Rotaractor, and that's the reason why there are some amendment when it comes to the Rotaractors. The Rotaractor is not a form of is now a form of membership. And then the age limit, they have eliminated the age limit. So there's age limit of 31. If you want to become a you can become a Rotaractor if you want for life, or even after 31. Uh, they realized that. But like I said, no, I'd like Rotaractors, from my point of view, I'd like Rotaractors to be the waiting area for Rotaractors who are graduating from the university into becoming a Rotarian. I want you to feel that gap. I want you to feel that 10 to 12 years gap, so we don't lose the many good Rotaractors to become Rotarians. No? But yes, I totally agree with you. I think a collaboration with the Rotaractor, we can inspire each other. In fact, we can learn from each other.
Okay. Sir, just a follow-up question related to Rotaractors becoming waiting area for Rotary. I think one of the major concerns of some of our Rotaractors who really want to continue the journey in Rotary is somehow the readiness, or let's say the acceptability of the culture that is available in the local Rotary clubs. So as incoming PCRG who might probably have influence over Rotary districts and Rotary clubs, how could you probably encourage our Rotary clubs to offer, or let's say present the opportunities that Rotaractors can probably enjoy if ever they consider to join certain Rotary clubs?
In the last Philippine Rotary Concerns Forum, one of the discussions centered actually on the new enactment about the Rotaractors. And you're absolutely right. One of the concerns raised was probably the generation gap, should I say, or the cultural difference between a Rotaract and a Rotarian, who are normally older in age compared to the Rotaractors. No? But it may be difficult, yes, it may be difficult. And in our conversation, in which as PCRG, we always encourage the Rotary clubs to open their conversation about the Rotaractor. But it's not entirely impossible. A case in point is the Rotary Club of Metro Bacolod, where I belong. We have a Rotaractor who is now very active in the incoming DRRE for 3850, Jeric Chua. He's a Rotaractor and he's now a Rotarian. So it's not totally impossible. The young ones you can easily adapt. In fact, but you just have to be patient with the older Rotaractors, no? Just like your parents, normally young people will always say, "How come my mom and dad can never understand me?" This is because of the generation gap. So you have to be patient with parents. You have to understand that they're coming from different views, they're coming from different perspective. So the same thing with Rotaractors becoming Rotarians. You have to be patient with Rotarians, and probably you have to take some extra effort if you're really interested to become a Rotarian after becoming a Rotaractor from the university. That's a reason why I always emphasize, again, let me emphasize it, how important is the Rotaractors community base, because this is where you're molded further, this is where this is where you're aged, this is where you're seasoned, the role that they can play. But it's not impossible for Rotaractors to go becoming a Rotarian. And as we will continue to encourage the Rotary clubs to have a conversation, continue to talk about Rotaractors, becoming Rotarians, or what we call the dual citizenship. In fact, in many of our conversations, we think already how to facilitate this dual citizenship is. Because one of the issue, of course, is the dues, the club dues. No? So we're talking along that line, how we can facilitate, how we can make it an exemption, or we can tweak a little bit the policies on dues, hopefully to make sure that the transition from becoming a Rotaractor to a Rotarian will be smoother than expected, because we know the challenges. It's a huge challenge for Rotaractors to become Rotarians straight from college. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Gov Jude. I think we already have two questions from our participants. So let me begin with this first question from IPDRR JMAC of Rotary International District 3830. So what advice or tips can you provide us so that we can maintain our PDRRs, these are past district Rotaract representatives, to still actively participate in guiding the Rotaractors in the Philippines? Because I think you mentioned in the presentation that one of the major accomplishments of PCRG is to keep our PDGs in the loop. So based on your experience, what can probably Rotaractors learn?
Well, your MDIO is a huge step towards that, no? And maybe may I would recommend that you involve your past what do you call it, DR past officers, involve them in the training, involve them uh, in the development of your Rotary activities. Uh, Probably you can create a something like a PCRG, no? Where you can also provide training. You can also provide an avenue where you can get in touch base with each other, and then probably maybe you can adopt as a policy that all the past DR district Rotaract DRR should get involved in strengthening the Rotaractors who are community based. You can pass that so they can get involved, so they don't get out from the mainstream. And it's a mindset thing. If they know that after becoming a Rotaractor based in school, they need to take more steps. So it's mindset. If they have this kind of mindset, I don't see the reason why they will start to be inactive. Get them involved. In other words,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you, Gov Jude. I think in the MDIO level, we have already been starting involving our PDRs, involving them in our usual trainings. But I think one of the items that we can probably strengthen is on the district level, making sure that all our PDRs are still involved in the district level activities and trainings. So I think we no longer have time, but we will entertain this last question from IPDRRMJ of Rotary International District 3770. So by virtue of Elevate Rotaract, Rotaractors are now members of Rotary International. What are the plans or programs of PCRG that could help Rotary clubs and Rotarians understand and recognize the policies related to Elevate Rotaract?
Okay. That's a good question. To be very honest with you, this is something also very new for all of us now, even for PCRG. This is something very new, and you have to understand that PCRG, we do not have any authority over the district. What we can do is just to have a conversation, to encourage them to talk about it, and to encourage them to look into it. But definitely, when we start our planning for our term for 2020 and 2021, Rotaractors will be one of the areas where we will be looking at on how we can mentor and how we can make sure that you become Rotarians, that you continue your journey to become a Rotarian. We will look into that. I can tell you.
Okay, thank you, Gov Jude. I think that's something that we can also continue discussing MDIO and PCRG even after this training. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed from and learned from this session. It's a pleasure to be your moderator for today. This is just the start of our continuing discussions with PCRG, and as your incoming chair, I will make sure that we will have continuous communication with incoming chair PDG Jude Doctora, so we can further explore more opportunities to collaborate and improve Rotaract in our country. So now I'm handing back the control to our host. Back to you, RJ.